Hey, I'm Dr. Guzman, triple board certified sleep medicine physician, and today I want to talk about why our brain starts trying to solve problems at bedtime. Have you ever noticed that the moment your head hits the pillow, suddenly your brain is trying to solve all of your life's problems, every single problem? The emails you forgot to send, the conversations from that day, the conversations for the next day that you're worried about. Many people feel like their brain becomes a nighttime project manager, but this isn't random. There are very real psychological and biologic reasons why we do this. One major factor is called rumination. Rumination is repetitive thinking about problems or negative experiences. It's the way that our brain tries to keep us safe by focusing on the things that are a potential threat to our nervous system. Research shows that rumination is a major driver for insomnia. It can magnify negative emotions, it can prolong our stress response, it can interfere with problem-solving abilities. Rumination can also maintain a cycle where we feel stressed, we have poor sleep as a result, and because we're sleep deprived and didn't have enough of that deep quality sleep where we get to consolidate memories and emotional experiences, we are more likely to have more rumination and feel more anxious and more irritable, which means our sleep also gets worse. So it becomes this vicious cycle of poor sleep, overthinking, worse sleep, overthinking, and the loop continues. Researchers have proposed models explaining how rumination can become a habit. In fact, one model described that rumination is a process that develops when the brain repeatedly dwells on unresolved goals or problems. Over time, the brain learns that nighttime is when thinking is allowed, when thinking happens. When executive control is low, and this happens when we're tired, the brain is more likely to fall back into this habit loop. Another important factor is the way that people process information. People who ruminate often think about problems in abstract ways. For example, why do I always mess things up? Instead of, what is the specific step that I need to take tomorrow? Abstract thinking keeps the brain stuck in loops versus concrete thinking that helps the brain move forward. So instead of focusing on how we're not doing enough, how we can beat ourselves up for we could do better, we should be doing more, we should be further ahead, we want to start thinking in concrete ways that we can move the needle forward and also celebrate the wins for the things that we have been doing and the ways that we are showing up both for ourselves, for our family, at work, at home. Our brain tends to look at everything we're not doing if we let it versus celebrating the things we are doing. And so it takes an intentional habit to celebrate the positive stuff as well as notice the things that we want to improve on. And it's normal for us to want to grow and improve. But when we start to get in a loop of overthinking the negative, our brain gets into that rumination mode. There are also biologic drivers of rumination. Sleep disruption can contribute to rumination through that biological pathway. When our sleep is disrupted, our circadian rhythm can get disrupted. Our ability to process emotions gets disrupted. We become more irritable, more likely to overreact, to be emotionally labile. And this also impacts our stress hormones, especially cortisol, which can reduce our brain's ability to recover from stress. So this creates a biological environment where the mind is more vulnerable to repetitive negative thoughts. So if your brain has a tendency to start solving problems at bedtime, it doesn't mean that there's anything that's gone wrong. It doesn't mean that you lack willpower or discipline. It means that your brain has learned a pattern. And the good news is that we can retrain patterns with the right tools, including behavioral sleep therapy and nervous system regulation. It is possible to put our body back into a state of rest and digest, of relaxation, of calm, the necessary state to achieve good quality sleep. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know what else you want to learn about, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.